Besides war, internal conflict and terrorism, what we don't quite hear enough about is the state of the nation's water resources. Safe and reliable supply of water is one of Afghanistan's most critical national needs as of now. The country's economy is largely based on agriculture. It is also one of the world's poorest. Reliable year-round supply of water is currently the need of the hour. Our correspondent Anas Malik tells you more. Take a look.
While Afghanistan has a relatively favorable water endowment and enjoys a prime location upstream on the rivers it shares with neighboring countries, its crumbling water sector and severe shortcomings in water wisdom, however, leave the country in a horrible state of duress. Accounting for 90% of the country's water use and 80% of the population's employment, the agricultural sector is unable to provide sufficient food for Afghanistan's population, partly due to water shortages. In Kabul's Khair Khana area, JAWAD, a water tanker driver, anxiously awaits customers at his usual spot. He complains that in recent times, his business has taken a visible hit.
I used to get my tanker 5 or 6 times refilled, but now the same car has to be refilled once in 2 or 3 days. This is because people don't have money. There are no salaries. Banks have a problem, and that the fuel prices have gone up.
Having access to safe drinking water is a daily struggle for many Afghans. The majority of the population resorts to buying drinking water from these water supply vehicles. Throughout the day, residents can be seen bringing their containers to take home some much-needed drinkable water. Even the elderly at times are seen carrying water containers. They too complain of the soaring water prices.
The government allocated water supply comes after every 7 or 8 days, and that too for 10 or 15 minutes. In this area, the water we get from boring or wells is salty and not drinkable. We are forced to buy this drinking water, per can of which I have to pay 20 Afghanis. The water prices have gone up slightly compared to the previous government.
Long-term humanitarian crises owing to the country's water problems are likely imminent, especially if international donors and aid organizations stop their emergency relief and support due to political reasons or simply due to the dangerous conditions on the ground.
Years of war and instability have hit the Afghan water sector. This despite efforts to rebuild the country, including the water sector over the past 20 years. More than 70% of the population here in Afghanistan do not have access to basic, clean and safe drinking water, with the water that is available being contaminated. Anas Malik in Kabul, Afghanistan for WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.